Welcome back to Tackett's House of Horsepower. It's me, Steve Tackett. Today, we're going to continue on with the down and dirty build. Mostly under the dash, ignition system, spark related type things. Things that make the engine run, important things like that. Using parts and pieces that we have laying around the garage. So buckle up, get ready, here we go. So the game plan for today is we're going to start on the ignition system and work under the dash and start tidying up some of that stuff. And as you know from other videos, I hope that this car is down and dirty because the whole build, basically up to this point, has been all parts and pieces that I had laying around from other cars and other projects, and engine and transmission, all used parts, all stuff that I had laying around, even the rims and tires I had in the shed. Like the whole car so far has been put together with stuff I had laying around. So keeping with that theme, I'm gonna continue using just whatever I have laying around to put this car together for two reasons. One, I need to clean out some of this mess. Two, I got to put it to use. And three, I can keep the cost way down by using what I got. And keeping with that theme, I moved the green car out of the way because behind here I had sheets of aluminum behind this mess pile over here. Behind there, I had sheets of aluminum left over from when I did the green cars door panels. I did door panels and sheeted in the back there. Can you see it? I mean, it's not professional, but it's pretty nice. But anyways, I have a big sheet of aluminum left over. So what I'll do is I'm going to use some cardboard. Take some cardboard and make me a template of this section up in here. I want to cover up this area here. We'll come across here and go up and over and down. So I'll make a template of that and I'll cut it out of the aluminum. But I think what I want to do is put some bolts, like a couple of button heads coming through, and then I'll put a nut and washer on those and tighten it down. So like basically I'll have a stud coming through, and I'll put the aluminum plate on that and then put a nut on that. So that way it's kind of easily removable, I guess. So I can take it in and out if I want. And I'll mount all my MSD box and coil and some relays and stuff like that that I want to use for like line lock and everything. So I'm gonna make this whole area up here my, ignition setup, line lock, trans brake, stuff like that. Anything I'm gonna add, nitrous, anything I'm gonna add is gonna go on this plate. So, and it'll be easily removable and I can add to it later. And anyways, you'll see what I'm doing. I also need to cover this hole where the original AC box used to go through. So I'll make that out of regular steel probably. I got some sheet metal over there. And that's just gonna get covered up, and like self-tappers gone through it where the original used to be. So we'll cover up that hole. We'll make an aluminum plate for this up here, and we'll start running all the wiring to it. And yeah, that's how far we'll get today, I think, I hope. But yeah, like I said, using what I got, using what I have laying around. We've got a pile up here. We'll go through that in a minute. But yeah, it's all stuff I have laying around. Well, something like that. All right, here's where we're at. You can see just the heads of the, I don't know, studs I made but hopefully that one will be covered by the fender and stuff, the inner fender. You won't really see that one. There's another one down in the corner there behind the valve cover. You won't be able to see it. That's probably the only thing you're gonna see right there. So it really doesn't clutter up the firewall at all. So kind of keep it nice and clean. And then on the inside, what you're gonna see is just some studs coming through like that. Then I started laying out this panel, a piece of aluminum I cut out. And so what my plan is, I can just spin 3 nuts off and boom, this whole plate will come out, and I can work on it or add things to it or whatever. But I'm trying to lay this thing out, but I'm missing some stuff. I ordered some parts. They're not here yet, but I got like a 50 amp breaker. I'm gonna have 12 volts constant coming into that, and then come out of that and feed it. I got a junction block that's gonna be 12 volts hot all the time, and then I'll feed my 12 volts like constants off of that. And then, you know, I was thinking maybe add like a ground block somewhere on here, run all my grounds to that. I can put one of these in and put a couple relays down here and run the relays over here for like line lock and stuff like that. Run the MSD box to that. My coil wires will go up and over to that. Anyways, I'll kind of lay this out and I'll bolt it all on here nice and neat, and solder everything and shrink wrap everything. But yeah, so positive coming in, junction block there, feed a couple of things, run a couple relays, run my ground here, all my grounds to a block, and then I can have those studs. I put up one of those, you know, a couple of those star washers underneath there and ground the metal down so it gets a good bite and I get a good ground. But yeah, anyways, that's kind of what it's gonna look like, sort of. I don't know, I'm waiting on some parts, so I might fidget that around a little bit, but I don't know yet. But you're getting the idea anyways. Yeah, it's 115, 116 degrees today. So it's warm. It's a little bit warm. But you know, here in Arizona, we race year round and we wrench year round, okay? We don't put them away for the winter. We work on our cars and we drive our cars year round. I just drove the green Chevelle today, 116 degrees out. So, you know, we're diehard out here, okay? But you can see it's warm. All right, take a look at that. I covered up that hole, made me a little piece of scrap steel there and cut it out. And I siliconed it and self-tapered it on there, so it is sealed up tight. And I might just go ahead and cover that up so you won't even notice it, and we'll call that good. And then I don't know how much more I want to do on my aluminum plate because I don't have all the parts. I can't really lay it out the way I want yet, so I don't know how much more I can go today, so we'll see. All right, look how pretty it is now. So that's done, and I went ahead and tightened up all these studs 100%. What I did first though is I took a grinder and cleaned all the paint and rubber spray stuff and everything down to the metal. So when I tighten those up with the washer, it bites into the metal, so I get a good ground. So I know that all 3 of these studs are going to be really good grounds. So when I tighten up my plate, I put the plate on here, everything's going to be grounded all three of those are going to be really good grounds. Now, I think I need to mark, I want this over here more. I need to put in a coil wire pass-through bulkhead guy that goes through. So the coil wire will go to that, pass through the firewall, and come out the other side, and then there'll be another coil wire that goes to the distributor. So I ordered it. Should have been here Friday with the other parts I ordered for the rest of the stuff. And it's not here. It says it'll be here Monday. So I don't know. I need to mark this and mount it, but I don't have the parts, so I don't know exactly where it's gonna go yet. So I'm really kind of stuck. I want to finish working on this plate, but I don't really want to mount everything, and then I don't know where everything's gonna be and where it's gonna go. So I might just have to do what I can and then stop. Okay, all right, check it out. These three items right here, I got a pass through to pass through the firewall. I got a little fuse block, distribution block, and I got a main like 12 volt distribution block there. These are the only three items that I have purchased new for the ignition system. Everything else is all used stuff I had laying around. So these parts came in finally, so I can continue working now. So I think I'm gonna start with this guy here. Let's drill some holes in the firewall and get that mounted, so then I know exactly where the placement of everything else is gonna go. Okay, we got some instructions. So this is the MSD firewall feed through, part number 8211, in case anybody's interested. Gives you a little diagram. You gotta kind of drill some holes there, and basically that's what we're going for. The coil wire is gonna pass through the firewall using that little guy. Pretty simple? Yeah, I think we got it. All right, so that's gonna go right there. And I'm gonna have to custom make a coil wire to come off that and come around here. Or maybe I can switch this coil around, the cap around, so it's to the side maybe. Then it could just come down to the side. I don't know, we'll figure it out. But anyway, that's where it's gonna come through. Okay, now I can finish this up. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get all this to fit. Hopefully, I can get at least maybe 1 or 2 relays on it. At least 1 for now. I need that for the line lock. Mount the coil and stuff, and then a power block, some fuses maybe. Hopefully we've got enough room here. Well, it's getting dark, and oh, it's so nice out right now. It's like 75 degrees. But sun's going down. I got a mess to clean up, but I'll show you better in the daylight. But it's kind of looking like this. Yeah. I ended up buying that big old red distribution block, and I really don't need it. So that was kind of a waste of a few bucks. But I did end up using that fuse block, so that's kind of cool. But anyways, I'll go over this more when I have some daylight and after my garage is cleaned up and I go inside and eat some dinner. But next time you see it, I'll give you a better explanation. What's up, everybody? It's a new day. Well, not a new day. It's the next day, and I've already been at work all day. So this is like the next day's afternoon, I guess. Yeah, I go to work all day at 4 in the morning, and I come out to the garage till it gets dark. But here you go. This is what it looks like in more daylight-ish time. I think it came out okay. What do you think? Basically, it's all pre-wired and ready to pick it up and stick it into the firewall there. Basically, it's all a bunch of used stuff I had laying around. Used coil from the Chevelle, a Jacobs Ultra coil. I got a used MSD box. I went with the 6AL, even though I'm not positive it's good or bad, or I don't know. I'm not really sure where I got it from. But I went with the 6AL because I want the rev limiter pill. You can get your RPM pill. This one is way bigger than what I'll probably spin this to. But you can change these pills out real easy. So you get rev limiter with this. And oh, just a word of advice. If you ever are picking up an MSD box that's used, do yourself a favor and take this little screw out here and double check those wires in there. There's 2 wires, a red one and a blue one. And you're supposed to cut them if you're running a 6-cylinder or a 4-cylinder. You cut one of them if it's a 6-cylinder, you cut both of them if it's a 4-cylinder. If it's a V8, you don't cut any of them. So double check. If you're putting it on a V8, you better check those wires. Make sure that the person who had this before you didn't have it on a 4-cylinder or something, and those wires are cut. So anyways, double check that. So MSD 6AL used, hopefully it works. We don't know. I put so here's where it's gonna start. All the magic's gonna start here. Got a 50 amp fusible link, and I'm gonna power that directly off battery voltage. I'll probably poke a hole somewhere in the firewall and come off of that and go through the firewall down to the starter, which is gonna be somewhere in this area on the other side of the firewall. And I'll probably get a big old honking cable like this and just, you know, put that guy there, and then run that to the big battery cable on the starter. So I got battery voltage, 12 volts direct coming in. One leg goes up to the MSD box, and then I've got my tack, the yellow wires coming off of the tack output. So I'll run like shift light, tachometer, or RPM activated switches, anything like that's gonna come off of this lug here. And then these 2 are switched voltage from the ignition key. And then this is your trigger coming from the distributor. So that takes care of the sparking apparatus. Then I've got this fuse block here that's got 6 lugs. I can put things on here that are going to be, you know, like 12 volts constant. Things like I'll probably add a O2 sensor and stuff like that. That's going to be switched. It has a switched input and then a constant input. The constant voltages I'll run directly off of here, and you can just pop in a fuse, you know, whatever fuse you want, whatever size you need, and pop it in there, bam, and then you can add a wire to go to whatever you need to go to. So right now I put this guy on here, this lug with 2 relays. One of them I plan on using for my brakes, my line lock, and I think I'm going to add a trans brake in the near future. I don't have it yet, but I figured I'd go ahead and wire it in now. So put those in, and they're gonna be fed 12 volts coming from the fuse block. And then I've got normally open, normally closed outputs. And then the black and the white is all, of course, black is gonna be ground. White's gonna be coming 12 volts from a button. So if I put a button on my shifter or on my steering wheel, whatever, I can control the line lock or trans brake. Or I was also thinking maybe adding another one here like that, and maybe adding another one here and wiring in another relay for possibly, like, I don't know, maybe like nitrous kit arming. I don't know, maybe. Anything's possible, you know what I mean? Anything's possible. And then I'm running all my grounds. I'll run all the grounds to this lug here, and it'll be tied to that stud there. So I know that's going to be a good ground. All three of those studs on the firewall are really, really good grounds. Speaking of grounds, this one's up here for the box, MSD box. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got so far. It's ready to go in. I can bolt that to the firewall up underneath there. You're not even really gonna see it. Most of that is gonna be hidden. So I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. And what makes it, you know, super versatile is I can add stuff to it. I can work on it. All I gotta do is disconnect a couple of wires and loosen 3 nuts, and this whole plate will come right out. Boom. You know what I mean? And I can work on it or add something to it or rewire something or whatever I need to do. Just loosen 3 nuts, unhook a couple wires, and pull the whole thing out. So it'll be super easy to work on. It'll be tucked away, kind of hidden. You won't see it, but still be able to do everything I want to do with it. So I think it's going to work out just fine. Speaking of, check this out. I like MSD boxes and all, but I was thinking about this. I was going to show you guys. You probably like this. Have any of you seen an MSD box like that? Check that guy out. That's the MSD box on my engine. That's my engine test stand. It folds up. Anyways, that MSD box was on a 66 El Camino I picked up, and that thing was I was like, I'm gonna put it on my test stand and see if it works, and it does. That thing's like literally, I don't know how old that is. Take a wild guess if anybody can figure out how old that thing is, and it still works. So these boxes are pretty good, I think. MSD makes a pretty good product. But yeah, let me get this thing slid up in there and let you guys take a look at it. Okay, there it is. It's sitting up in there. Let's take a look. Climb in here. There it is, through the glove box. But yeah, let me get down here and look up underneath here. There you go. Of course, I used all nylock nuts and stuff, so none of this stuff can come loose. Nothing's gonna vibrate loose. Everything's got nylock nuts on it, so it should stay nice and tight. Nothing's gonna rattle loose, hopefully. But yeah, I just need to poke a hole somewhere over here and run my distributor wires over and run my 12 volts off of the starter, like I said, to that guy. And then I gotta make a coil wire to go from here over there for the pass-through. And then there we go. That should do it. Down and Dirty's ignition system. It's definitely spare parts and leftover pieces and kind of just thrown together, but there it is. I was wondering, is there an award for the most hodgepodge ignition system ever made? Because if there is, I would like to nominate Down and Dirty. We have a Mallory distributor with a Mallory filter. We have an MSD box with a Jacobs coil, and all of it is 15 to 20 years old, so, and used. So that's got to be in the at least in the running for the most hodgepodge ignition system ever created. So I don't know. Tell me what you think. Is it going to work? Is it going to be awesome? Or is it going to burn the car to the ground? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. We could take bets, put up the odds. Vegas, I don't know. Anyways, I think that's going to do it for this video. I say this at the end of every video, and I really do mean it. I appreciate all the support and all the help and all the encouragement and all the comments and likes. You guys are awesome. And I don't even know what to say. But if you could hit subscribe, like, hit the bell, hit the comment, any of those things, that would be awesome, and I would appreciate it. And till next time, see ya.